our body clock is going to tell us when to wake up. It makes it really hard. Some of us are like, well, me personally, I wake up almost at the exact same time every day, right between 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And I'm normally awake right before my alarm at 6:45. So my body clock starts to feel the difference in whatever's happening, and I wake up. And then I start getting tired at a certain time. And I'm sure you do that as well. The more that we can do with red light therapy, it can actually support that. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting. Yes, it can help you as a podcaster. When we're thinking about the sun, when the sun comes up and the sun is like all the way straight sideways, that's called a sunrise. And the sun's rays need to get through a lot of atmosphere in order to hit us because it's the farthest away possible from us. At noon, it's the closest possible to where we are, right? At noon, it's basically right above us and it has the lowest amount of atmosphere to get through. And then again, in the evening around sunset, it has, again, the farthest amount of space to make it through our atmosphere. And our atmosphere protects us from a whole ton of radiation from the sun and other things. Like the atmosphere protects us. So you get less protection basically at noon. But here's the interesting part, the part that is interesting because it helps you understand how does this help me sleep. And in a second, we could talk a little bit about how does it make you heal as well, because there's some really cool things about the red light. But I want to make a quick analogy between the way that light waves get through the atmosphere and the way that sound waves get through the atmosphere. When we're looking at, let's just say you've got a drum line. Okay, you've got a drum line. That means that they've got all the different kinds of basses, bass drums, all the tenor drums and the snare drums, and they've got the hi-hats. What's interesting is when you're very, very close to the drum line, the snare hurts your ears. The snare is the high-pitched sound. It's quite painful. Like most of the drummers, they have to wear earphones on them because that snare is so piercing. Now, I mentioned that this was going to be an analogy. At noon, you're the closest to the sun. When you're the closest to the drum line, you're the closest to it. So what's going to happen is that there's certain wavelengths, the quick wavelengths, we'll call that blue light, and we'll call that treble, the high-pitched sound. And when you're farther away, then really it's going to be the lower wavelengths that get through the whole atmosphere. So you've probably noticed this when you're far away from a drum line, when you're far away from the drums, you only really hear the bass. Why is that? Is because the bass it's not louder, but that type of frequency can travel further. And I want to put this analogy real quick into the sun. All right, when you are at noon, high noon, that's the treble. That's you're next to all of it. You can hear all of it. All of the wavelengths are going to be there. The bass, the treble, the snares, the in between, every single thing you can hear. But the treble's going to be a little too powerful for you, and you're going to have to wear earmuffs unless you want to damage your ears. And the same thing when you're right at noon. It's going to be tough because you're so close to the sun, and some of those wavelengths are going to be so powerful because they have less atmosphere to get through. As we mentioned before, you are protected by that atmosphere. So at sunset or sunrise, then what's going to happen is it's like the bass. It's like that bass drum is the only thing you're going to get. That's why during sunrise and sunset, that's why you see the orange and red colors. That's why instead of being blue like at noon, the sky is now red. And the sky is now red specifically because the blue light, the piercing treble, doesn't reach you because it has too much atmosphere to go through. But the red light has the wavelengths that are going to be able to travel a little bit further. And the point to all of this is, yes, it helps you with your circadian rhythm. Yes, it helps you sleep a lot better. So I want you to try it. I want you to test this out. Something that I try to do, especially during the summer, I have to be honest, it's winter and I haven't been doing a lot of this. I might do a few minutes a day with a coat on. As I'm recording this, it's winter. Just the other week, we were at negative 20 degrees, negative 15 degrees, negative 12 degrees, negative 6 degrees, and windy. So it's pretty powerful. So we can't always do this, but I challenge you to do it as much as you can. Get out in the sun.